So welcome to this next session where we will be discussing about the next concept, which is concept 5 in kinematics, which will be about the application of graphs in kinematics. Now already we have taken a look at some of the physical properties or physical quantities related to time in graphs, etc., and the significance of things like slope, etc. But we will be summing up all that information here and discussing a whole lot of applications of graphs. Okay. So the first type of graph that we look at in kinematics is position versus time, or you can even draw a graph of displacement versus time graph. Okay. So the important things to remember about displacement time graphs is that the rate of change of displacement is velocity, right? So for example, if we have a position x versus time t kind of graph, which maybe looks like this, then relating to this graph, other than the fact that it gives us the instantaneous position as a function of time, but it can also give us information about velocity. So so for example, average velocity is average rate of change of position with respect to time. So it is delta x by delta t, or we can say x2 minus x1 upon time t2 minus t1. So when we are looking at an interval of time from t1 to t2, the average velocity is defined in that manner. Now graphically speaking, you can see that if this is the time t1 and the corresponding value of position is x1, and this is the time t2 and the corresponding position at time t2 is this one x2, then this line, which is called a secant line, okay, the slope of this secant line is nothing but the average velocity. So this interval here is delta t and this interval here is delta x. So graphically speaking, what we can say is that average velocity represents the slope of the secant line in terms of the graph. So given a graph, and if you want to calculate the average velocity between two instants of time, all we have to do is draw a secant line between those two instants of time and calculate its slope. So that's the first concept. You can see that instantaneous velocity. So once again, if the position versus time graph is, let's say, something like this. Now instantaneous velocity defined as the instantaneous rate of change of position with respect to time. So if we are looking at a particular instant of time, let's say t naught over here, and the position at that point of time is x naught. Now we want to find the velocity at time t naught. It would be nothing but the slope of the tangent drawn at that point. So this quantity, so instantaneous velocity at t equal to t naught is nothing but slope of tangent at t equal to t. So that is how we calculate the instantaneous velocity as a function of time. Now let's look at some important cases. So what would the graph of a particle at rest look like? So basically, the position would not be changing with time. So let us say a particle is at rest at the position x equal to x naught. So the position x naught would remain constant. So if we have a horizontal line as the position versus time graph, as you can see, the position is constant. And the position being constant, it means that the velocity is 0, the particle is at rest. We have a particle moving at uniform velocity. Okay. So we can see that the displacement is velocity into time. So the position would be equal to the initial position plus velocity into time. So that would be a straight line graph. Because basically this would mean that dx by dt, which is v, is uniform. So that means it's a graph whose slope is uniform. In other words, it's a straight line graph. Okay, so that is how a particle moving with uniform velocity would be represented, and basically the slope of this line would represent the uniform velocity itself. Let's look at the third case. So we have a situation where the initial velocity is positive and the acceleration is uniform and positive. As you know, displacement would be ut plus half at square, where u and a are both positive quantities. So we can say that the position is the initial position plus the displacement. So it would be like this. So that would look like a parabolic graph. As you can see, the velocity or the slope of the tangent is continuously increasing because the acceleration is positive. Next up, okay, so let's look at a situation where a particle is moving with a uniform deceleration. So, for example, let's take u equal to 10 meters per second and the deceleration equal to 2 meters per second square. So acceleration will be written as minus 2. So as you can see, s is ut plus half at square. So that will make it over here 10t minus t square. So the position at any time would be the initial position plus the displacement. Okay. Now you can see that's a parabola which has this kind of a shape. This kind of a shape, okay. So you can see that at some point of time, at this point, velocity becomes 0. From here to here, let's say this time t1, the slope is positive but decreasing. And from t1 onwards, the slope becomes negative and increasing. So 0 to t1, velocity is positive and decreasing in magnitude. So it's a deceleration. At t equal to t1, instantaneous velocity is 0. Okay? And for t greater than t1, velocity is negative. So it's coming back. Okay? And speed is increasing. Or you can say it's an accelerated motion. So these are some important special cases. Next, we will look at velocity versus time graphs. The important thing to remember about a velocity versus time graph let's say this is the velocity. Now the first thing to keep in mind is that acceleration is rate of change of velocity. So that means again we can say that instantaneous acceleration at time t equal to t is the slope of tangent drawn at that point. So for example, if I want to find out the acceleration at this time t, draw this tangent here, and tan theta will give us the instantaneous acceleration. Whereas average acceleration slope of the secant plane. So for example, we now want to find out the average acceleration between, let's say, time t1 here and time t2. So we join these 2 points with a straight line. That would give us c, whereas this is the time. So that is the analysis of how we can find out the acceleration from the given velocity versus time graph, both average and instantaneous. Given the relation of velocity versus time, how would we find out the instantaneous displacement? So since velocity is defined as ds by dt, or you can say rate of change of position, okay, so we can say that ds is v dt. So the displacement is integration of velocity from time t1 to time t2, or we can say that the change in position, which is the displacement, is integration of velocity from time t1 to t2. So here the integration represents, it's a definite integration from t equal to t1 to t equal to t2. So that represents the area under the velocity time graph. So let's say this particular time is t1 and this particular time is t2. Then this area is displacement from t1 to, that's a simple idea over there. Now, when we are calculating displacement from area under the graph, one thing we have to keep in mind is that displacement as the area is summed up in terms of algebraic quantity. Okay, so the thing to keep in mind is that if we, for example, have a situation where the velocity versus time is like this. So displacement from 0 to t2, for example, will be area from 0 to t. But displacement from t2 to t3 is this area. It will be counted as a negative quantity, because as you can see, velocity here has become negative. That means the particle's direction of motion is along the negative axis. So the displacement is also negative. So it will be written with a negative sign. Okay. So for example, so if this area is E1, let's say, and this area is A2. So let's say this is plus A1 and this is minus A2. Then the displacement from 0 to T3 will be plus of area A1 minus of area A2. So that's the important thing. So when we are summing up displacement over a range of time where the velocity might be becoming negative at certain instants of time or a certain range of time in between, then the displacement during those intervals where the velocity is becoming negative will become negative of that area. So the net displacement is the summation of the area, but summation considering area as an algebraic quantity with positive and negative sign properly. Okay, so that's just an extra point to keep in mind when we are calculating displacement from velocity time graphs. Some special cases. So when we consider the body at rest, it means its velocity is 0. So the velocity time graph velocity is 0 during the entire interval of time. Okay. When we consider a body moving with uniform velocity, we have a straight line, and whatever the value of velocity in that straight line, that is the uniform velocity with which the body is moving. So for example, here you can see quite easily that the displacement in time 0 to t is just that area. So it is this velocity multiplied by this time, so it's area of the rectangle over here. Let's look at something with initial velocity positive and uniform acceleration. So A is a constant and it is positive. So the velocity versus time graph would be such that V is equal to U plus AT. The acceleration is the slope of this. Whereas if you look at something with initial velocity positive but acceleration negative, we had a uniform deceleration. So here the equation was V is equal to U plus AT. Here the equation will be V is equal to U minus AT, because A is a negative quantity. So now look at this. Actually, we write it as V is equal to U plus AT, but here A would be a negative quantity. So hence, tan theta is negative. Now let's look at something like this, where the velocity time graph looks like this. So it has basically a convex upwards or a concave downwards kind of this thing. So what can we comment about acceleration here? You can see acceleration is slope of tangent. Okay. So as you can see, since this is not a linear graph, definitely one thing we can see is that acceleration is variable because the slope is constantly changing. The second thing we can see is, if you compare two instants of time here, t1 and t2, you can see the slope at t2 is greater than the slope at t1. It's more steep. Right? So we can say that acceleration at time t2 is greater than acceleration at time. So we can also see that the acceleration is increasing with time, just by analyzing how the slope is behaving. Okay. On the other hand, if we had a graph that was looking something like this, now here what we can see is that if you draw a tangent at a time t1 and then again draw a tangent at the time t2, then we can see that the slope is decreasing. So t2 is less than 1. So here the second thing we can analyze from the graph is that acceleration is decreasing with time. So that is just an interesting geometrical idea, that by analyzing the slope of the velocity time graph, you can tell whether the acceleration has a certain pattern, like it might be decreasing or it might be increasing, etc. Next up, if we look at acceleration versus time graphs. So here basically what we can see is that since acceleration is the rate of change of velocity, so we can see that this equation here tells us that the change in velocity is the area under the A versus T graph. So for example here, if this is the time T1 and this is time T2 and this area measures out to be E, then we would say that V2 is equal to T V1 plus a change in velocity where and needless to say that if the acceleration versus time graph is such that at a certain instant of time the acceleration is becoming negative, then this area here, so this time is T1, let's say this time is T2. So if this area is A, then V2 will be equal to V1 plus delta V, where delta V here would be minus of the area, because it is a position where acceleration is becoming negative. That means there is a deceleration. Alright, so that is a little bit about the acceleration time graphs. So now we will look at some Alright, so let's say this is the information given to us. So this is given a velocity time graph. Find acceleration, maximum acceleration, and third, displacement for the interval when acceleration is maximum. Okay. So just understand that question, we'll discuss its solution. So basically, as you can see in the question, the velocity versus time graph is a collection of straight lines. Okay. So the acceleration is uniform within every interval where it's a particular straight line. So for example, 0 to 20, you have a uniform acceleration. 20 to 30, you can see the acceleration is 0 because velocity is uniform. 30 to 40, again you have a uniform acceleration, and 40 to 80 you can see there's a uniform deceleration. So as far as calculating the acceleration is concerned at various different points, for velocity versus time being a straight line, acceleration is slope, so that is basically delta V by delta T. So by that method you can see that t equal to 0 to t equal to 20, acceleration is velocity at 20 minus velocity at 0 upon the time interval. So that is one meter per second. So at this interval you can see the acceleration is uniform and 1 meter per second square. Okay. Then from 20 to t equal to 30 you can see that acceleration is 0 because velocity is uniform. So in this interval we can see acceleration is 0. Right. Then if you look at the third interval of time which is shown to us here, t equal to 30 seconds to t equal to 40 seconds. It's a straight line again. So acceleration is slope of the straight line. So it is velocity at 40 minus velocity at 30 upon 40 minus 30. So velocity at 40 you can see in the graph is 80, whereas velocity at 30 was 20 in meters per second. second. So the acceleration will become 6 meters per second during that particular interval. So here you can see the acceleration is 6 meters per second square. It's a positive quantity. And if you look at the last interval of time from 40 to 80, t equal to 40 seconds, t equal to 80 seconds, you can see it's a decelerated motion because the slope is negative. So yeah, you can see that the acceleration will be final velocity minus initial velocity upon the time interval, that is 0 minus 80 upon 80 minus 0. It's minus 1 meters per second square. So that is the complete description of accelerations, and you can see that this particular acceleration here is maximum. So that takes care of first two parts. Next up, let us look at the displacement in the interval when acceleration is maximum. So the third part, acceleration is maximum from 30 to 40 seconds. So displacement from 30 to 40 seconds will be area from 30 to 40, or basically we can say v dt integrated from 30 to 40 seconds. So that is this area over here. So that area we can calculate by the formula of area of a trapezium. So if you look at that trapezium separately, that area, see this is 30, 40. So this is a 10-second interval. Okay. And we can see that this is the initial velocity at this interval, which is 20, and this is the final velocity, which is okay. So area will be half into sum of the parallel sides, that is 20 plus 80, into the distance between them, perpendicular distance between them, which is 10. So as you can see, this becomes 500 meters, because this is in meters per second and this is in seconds. So this area becomes 500 meters. So that displacement from 30 to 40 becomes 500 meters. Alright, so just make sure you understood this. Let's look at another example now. Now this time the example we'll look at is one where information is given to us and we have to plot the graph, whereas the previous one was the graph was given to us and we had to decipher the information from it. So here in this example, let's say that particle is projected vertically upwards at time t equal to 0 with a speed of 40 meters per second. Take g equal to 10 meters per second square and plot the displacement versus time and the velocity versus time from t equal to 0 till it comes back to the point of projection. Right. So here we will be making use of the equations that we have written before. So we will take since the direction of motion initially is this, okay, so we will write v is equal to u minus gt as the velocity as a function of time. So the velocity will become 40 minus 10t, and the displacement is ut minus half gt square. So in this case you can see the displacement is 40t minus 5t square. So from this we can also see that maximum height, using that formula we had learnt earlier, is 80 meters, and the total time of flight is 8 seconds. So from this information we can see that plotting the first graph, velocity versus time, this will be 8 seconds, and the instant when the velocity is 0 at the highest point, the time will be the half of the total time of flight, so that will be 4 seconds. So the velocity you have plotted in meters per second and I have plotted in seconds. And similarly, if you look at displacement versus time graph, we can see that for the first 4 seconds it will be going up, and then the next 4 seconds coming down parabolically. Maximum height it will reach will be 80 meters as we saw. So these are the graphs of displacement versus time and velocity versus time. Just take that down. Let's look at an example where okay, so let us look at this question. So the information given to us in the question is that we are given an acceleration versus time graph, so that's the information given, and additionally it is given that the particle starts from rest. Okay, so the fact that it starts from rest means that its initial velocity is 0 from the origin, which means its initial position is 0 along the positive x-axis. Okay, so from this information we have to find out about velocity versus time and the displacement versus time, or the position versus time. So let's work this out next. So the solution, this now v versus time, let's see. Now we have to divide the motion up into two parts, because from 0 to 10 seconds you can see it's a uniform acceleration, and from 10 to 20 it's a uniform acceleration again, but that is a negative quantity. Okay, so for t equal to 0 to t equal to 10 seconds, you can see that acceleration is plus 4 meters per second square. Initial velocity is 0. Therefore, velocity as a function of time will become 40. So at t equal to 10 seconds, v will be 40 meters per second. That's the first part of the graph. Now the second part of the graph we can see is that from t equal to 10 seconds to t equal to 20 seconds, the acceleration is minus 2 meters per second. Therefore, at t equal to 10 plus delta t, something in between 10 and 20, the change in velocity is minus 2 delta t. Okay. So we can see that the velocity at a time t like this will be, okay. Now we also know that velocity at t equal to 10 is plus 40 meters per second. That is known from that graph. Okay? So the velocity at the time t plus delta t will be, so the velocity at a time 10 plus delta t will be equal to the velocity at the time 10 plus the change in velocity. Okay. So you can see that velocity at a time t will be equal to 40 plus delta v, which is minus 2 delta t. Now delta t we can see is t minus 10. So like this. So that is the relation of velocity versus time. Okay, the velocity will be, in this interval of time, we can write the velocity as -60. So anyway, what we can see is that at some delta t, the velocity decreases by a certain amount, and that amount is 2 delta t, right? So basically, see that. Also, we can see that at the time of 20 seconds, substituting 20 here, you can see the velocity would have reduced to 20 meters per second. Let's say 20 seconds is here. During this time, the acceleration is minus 2 meters per second square, and during this time the acceleration is plus 4. Alright, so the velocity time graph will be combination of two. Okay, so I hope that is clear. Okay, next we will look at the position versus time graph. That's the velocity versus time graph again. Now looking at the position versus time graph, from 0 to 20 seconds, 10 seconds, displacement is half at square, that's 2t square, and initial position is 0, so position itself is 2t square. So we can see that x at 10 seconds will become 200 meters. Let's see. So it will be a graph with an increasing slope like this. Whereas what is happening from t equal to 10 to t equal to 20. Okay. The velocity is decreasing, as you can see. Acceleration is negative. It is minus 2 meters per second square. Whereas the initial velocity is positive. So that is 40 meters per second. The final velocity is 20 meters per second. This and this value. So you can see that the slope of the graph will start decreasing now. So the displacement has to be this. You can see the displacement will be 300 meters. So that means the final position at t equal to 20 will become 200 plus 300 or 500 meters. So this is the complete description of the velocity time graph and the position time graph for the given acceleration versus time graph. Let's look at something like this. Okay, so just take a look at that example here. So it gives us some information about motion of a car. Okay. That it starts from rest, accelerates uniformly for the first 10 seconds, then moves at a uniform velocity for another 30 seconds, and then finally decelerates till it comes to rest at a uniform rate for the final 20 seconds. So in the net motion from 0 to the final time it comes to rest again, the total displacement is 0.7 kilometers, and from this we have to plot the velocity time graph and the acceleration versus time graph. Okay. Sorry, and the accelerations a1 and a2 at various. Let's look at the solution of this. So if you look at a velocity versus time graph, now we can see that 0 to 10 seconds, initial velocity is 0 and a is equal to plus a1. So velocity will be a1t, it will be a straight line. So look like this, let's see. Whatever that is, that then from t equal to 10 seconds to 40 seconds, because the interval of time is 30 seconds for the second one. The interval of time was 10 seconds. Acceleration is 0 and the uniform velocity is v0. Like this. And then final interval of time is 20 seconds, okay, where t is going from 40 to 60 seconds. Now during this time, the acceleration is minus a2 and the initial velocity is v0 and the final velocity is z. So that in this graph will show up like this. So see that, okay, so we can see v0 is also equal to 20a2. This information is there. Now the total displacement is 0.7 kilometers or 700 meters. So what does that tell us? That tells us that this area is 700 meters. So that means we can relate the area of the trapezium with 700 meters. So area of the trapezium, again we can see, is half sum of parallel sides. Parallel sides are 60 and 30 in seconds into the distance between them. The perpendicular distance between them you can see is v0. Okay, so that is 700. So we can see that v0 becomes 700 into 2 upon 90. therefore we can see that and similarly we can also see that right, so that's an example of a question. Look at another example where what is given to us is a velocity versus position graph in meters, velocity is in meter per second. From this we have to so which of these will be the acceleration versus position graph? We have to figure that out. Okay. So now as you can see, as the position is increasing, the velocity is decreasing. So velocity is decreasing means that with position increasing there is a negative acceleration. Okay. So that rules out, for example, this graph. The other thing we can see is that acceleration cannot be uniform. Okay. Because had acceleration been uniform, the velocity versus position graph would have been a quadratic graph. Because v square is equal to 2as using that relation. Okay. So what we can analyze from here is that the velocity as a function of position is something like this. It is some constant minus some constant into x, okay, which we can over here see is actually 20 minus slope of this, which is 0.2x. We can see that dx by dt is 20 minus 0.2x. So from that we can also see that dv by dt or acceleration or d2x by dt square becomes minus 0.2 dx by dt. So in other words, what we can analyze is that the acceleration is minus 0.2 times the velocity, and substituting the velocity here you see that the acceleration is minus 0.2 into 20 minus 0.2x. So what we can see about the acceleration is that it is 0.04x minus 4. Okay. So it is a straight line graph with a positive slope but having a negative y-intercept. So you can see it is this graph where this will be minus 4 and basically acceleration will become 0 at 100 seconds. So just make a note of that. So given an acceleration versus time graph for a particle starting from rest moving along the x-axis. Okay. So we want to find velocity at t equal to 20 seconds, velocity at t equal to 30 seconds, and acceleration at t equal to 30 seconds. Alright, so let us analyze this particular problem. So as you can see, the acceleration versus time graph given to us is a linear graph or a straight line, where the acceleration starts from a value of +4 but it is decreasing and it becomes negative after some time. So it has a uniform negative rate of change, the acceleration versus time. So from that we have to find information about velocity given that initial velocity is 0. Okay. So the concept we'll keep in mind is that first of all, the acceleration is a linear graph. So it is linear with time. Where we can see that it is something like this. Okay. So from observation of the graph, we can see that the initial value of acceleration is +4, and that constant is change in acceleration. So delta E by delta t. So that constant you can see is -4/20 or -1/5. So the acceleration is 4 minus t by 5, or we can say it is 4 minus 0.2 t. So from this information we can also see that the acceleration at t equal to 30 seconds will become 4 minus 0.2 into 30. So that is -2 meters per second. So this acceleration we can see is minus. So that takes care of the third part of the problem. Now you can see that change in velocity is a dt or area, and is given to us that initial velocity is 0. Okay. Therefore final velocity is equal to a dt. Okay. So velocity from at t equal to 20 will become this area. Okay. So that is half of the base, which is 20 seconds, into the height, which is 4 meters per second square. So the velocity meters per second. Right. And we can also see that algebraic sum of areas. This is another important type of question. Okay, next example. So given an acceleration versus position graph or displacement graph, which is this. So if initial velocity is 0, find the velocity when the displacement is equal to 20 meters. That's the question over here. So this is a separate type of problem. Now for this we should recall that since A is dv by dt, we can also write it as dv by dt into ds by ds, or ds by dt into dv by. Okay. So we can see that it is v dv by ds. So acceleration can be written this way. So v dv is a ds. Okay. So integration of v dv is integration of v ds. Okay. So that gives us the important result that integration v dv, or from initial to final, So it is V final square minus V initial square by 2 is equal to the area, because ADS integration under A versus S graph. So this is the concept that we will use in this question. So just understand that, and then we look at the numerical solution. U is equal to 0 at S equal to 0, and V we want to find out at S equal to 20 meters. Therefore, V square minus U square by 2 is area from S equal to 0 to S equal to 20. Okay. So that is this area. So that is half of base, and this is in meters per second square. So that becomes this one. So another important question for you there. For 3 bodies. Okay, so we have to select the correct options here. So just take a look at the question. Let's analyze each option. Now you can see in the graph that the displacement of A versus time, or the position of A versus time, is linear. Okay, so this option becomes correct because it's a straight line, so its slope is constant. Okay. Now we can also see that as far as C is concerned, the slope is decreasing. Okay. So it is decelerating. That option is correct. Now, third option asks whether B is moving faster than C or not when they cross each other. So let us look at the time when they cross each other, that is this time, B and C crossing each other. So at this point of time you can see that the slope of B is more than the slope of C. So you can see that VB is greater than VC at this time. So that means B is moving faster. Whereas the next option, when C crosses A, you can see the slope of A is more than the slope of C. So actually VA is greater than VC. Okay, so this option becomes wrong. So correct options are these. Okay. Alright, so that concludes this session.